Welcome to the table. You are now listening to the Real Table podcast with Michael Carter.
It's been too long. Welcome back to the Real Table podcast with your host, Michael Carter. And it is great to be back. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I took a long hiatus. I just recently became a father. Life is crazy, and making time to do this podcast is challenging, but I love doing it. I love getting on here. I love talking about movies. I love bringing people on, and we're back, and I'm going to do this whenever I can, and as long as I can, and until I decide not to do this anymore. But right now, I'm like, I still want to do this. I still love watching movies. I love going to the theater. I love checking out the latest movie or watching something that's on streaming that people say is good. Like, I just love the art form of watching movies. I love it. So thank you for joining me here on the Real Table podcast. It's been a lot. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, especially as this summer feels like it's basically over. This summer is basically over. I know people are like, oh, it's only July. We still got August. And then sometimes September can be hot, but like, I'm seeing back to school commercials. Like, we're at the tail end of July. Summer is over, right? I'm hearing kids are going back to school in August. And if some kids are lucky, they're going back on during Labor Day, which is a while from now, which means they got plenty of time. But most people that I know that are teachers are going back in August. So it feels like summer is wrapping up. The World Cup just ended, right? That happens all summer long when it comes. And so it just feels like, man, we're getting ready for the fall season. But again, this summer was very, very fascinating. What's always interesting about coming into a year, you see these slate of films, and usually you have your initial reaction to what's going to be good, what's not going to be good, all those types of things. I usually come in open-handed. Sometimes there are quite a few films that I'm skeptical on, but I usually come in open-handed. And it's so fascinating. Like, if I look at my anticipated movies of 2026, and I look at that list, and to feel like where we are now, my mind is blown by how some of the films have turned out. My mind have blown to which movies have deserved they deserve their spot, and then the spot made sense at the end of the day on my list. And then there's other movies where I'm like, dang, you completely disappointed me. So it is so fascinating just to see how all these movies come out, and we still got a long way to go. So there's a couple other movies that are on that list for me that I'm really interested to see pan out. But summer 2026 was just an interesting case study where there were the right winners and then there were losers, which is funny enough. The Odyssey, which I won't talk too much on here about the Odyssey. There's a whole other episode that I'm going to do on the Odyssey, and I'm going to invite people on. I'm excited to dive into it. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it was probably the best movie of the year for me. But the Odyssey just came out, and the Odyssey did exactly what it was supposed to do, right? But then on the other hand, you have a movie like Supergirl that completely makes a dud, y'all, right? And it's, again, a fascinating case study where you're going, this new era of DC, and you're coming off of Superman being well acclaimed, well received, in DC, Warner Brothers makes this dud, and you're going, okay, that was unexpected. So this is all fascinating. I'm excited to get into it. We're going to talk about the Doomsday trailer that just dropped today, which is so funny. As I was planning to do this episode, it dropped this morning. I'm excited to dive into it. I'm excited to dive into the internet and what it has to say about Marvel right now, which is it's a little irritating. You got people have their opinions, people have their thoughts, and they can have their thoughts. But I'm like, dude, we do this. We've been doing this for the past 4 or 5 years. If you don't like Marvel Studios, if you don't like any of those movies, stop speaking into it, right? And then some of you go, well, I'm a critic and this is what I'm supposed to do. Cool. Write your piece on the movie and then keep it moving. tweeting about the trailer that you don't like. You're bringing more attraction to that product that you claim that you don't like. So I'm excited to get into that Doomsday trailer and to talk about it. We're going to look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man's out in a couple weeks. I'm excited. Got my tickets. I'm going to be one of the first people to see it the Wednesday before it releases. I think that's the 29th, and I'm really excited about it. Really pumped about it. But summer 2026, interesting case study. Toy Story, The Odyssey, Moana, the live action, Spider-Man, which has yet to come out, and then Supergirl, right? Interesting. We have all these different slews of different palettes of films. Most of them, like if you look at it, Toy Story, Moana, Spider-Man, and Supergirl are all somewhat IPs. Odyssey is different, based off of a book, based off of a popular story, Greek mythology story. So it's really fascinating just to look at this palette of different slew of films. And if you told me coming into 2026 which of these movies were going to be hits, I would say all of them, right? I'm missing one movie. I think I'm missing Minions. But if you look at all these films, I'm like, these films are going to be hits. These other films are going to be hits. But necessarily wasn't the case. To start, though, Toy Story. Toy Story, dude. Toy Story did what it was supposed to do. It did what I thought it would do. Right? People are like, we're tired of Toy Story sequels. It should have stopped with 3, and 100%. I think as long as we've gotten, or as far as we've gotten down this path, after watching Toy Story 4 before going to see Toy Story 5, I do think the argument of Toy Story should have ended is a fascinating one. It is one of those things where I'm like, man, I really do think that people are on to something when they're saying, dang, it should be done with Toy Story 3, right? I have some respect for Toy Story 4. The storyline and the story arc where it did with Woody, right? But yet, in Toy Story 5, I like wrestle with the fact that Woody wasn't the foundational arc of the story, which, again, it makes sense. Woody's done his time for 3 films, and the creators like Andrew Stanton, and company, they created a different story to push these characters and to push that world further. And it was a solid attempt. It was a solid job. And I end up enjoying Toy Story 5 for the most part. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't like, dude, it knocked my socks off. It was a solid movie, right? But Toy Story 5, man, it's solid. It's solid. Hoppers did his thing, right? Hoppers was a solid success early in March. And now Toy Story 5 comes in like a wrecking crew and does what it does best and makes money for Disney. That's why they keep doing these things, right? And in return, I'll give Pixar this credit. I'll give Pixar this credit with the Toy Story films. They do a really good job of making, even if the story isn't like breathtaking and amazing, they always can bring a solid product into the space. Toy Story 4 was a solid product. Wasn't bad, wasn't horrible. It was solid, right? Toy Story 5, to me, a solid product. And that's what Pixar, I think, does a really good job of. And that's why when I look at the Incredibles 3 that'll eventually come out, a Monsters, Inc. sequel that'll be on the horizon, or even Coco 2, I look at those movies and I go, I think Pixar's going to get it. I think they're gonna find the right mold for these stories, and make it make sense, and they're gonna put out a product, right? The audiences show up for it. It's incredible to see the many generations that are well represented when you go see Toy Story 4. When I went to go see Toy Story 5, families, I saw little kids to the oldest of olds, because these are characters that we grew up with. And that when Toy Story first hit the scene, it was the first of its kind, and it now has become generational. Not now, but it's been generational since Toy Story 4, arguably 3. But Hopper's first, Toy Story 5 came in like a wrecking ball. Franchise record with $160 million in the U.S., $890.8 million worldwide, on pace for $1 billion. That's faster than Michael, guys. Michael was a hit this year. Michael finally made it over $1 billion, which hats off to the team. No matter how you feel about the movie, Michael made it to $1 billion, and people want it, and they're going to get a sequel. $890.8 million worldwide, on pace for $1 billion. What does this mean for the future of Pixar? I think the future of Pixar is taking shape. Pixar has had a rough 6 years. COVID did a lot of that to me. I thought a lot of the films, Lightyear, people have the discrepancies with Lightyear, even Turning Red, like even people have their problems with those movies. But most of everything that I've seen from Pixar in this decade, in my opinion, has been solid work. Nothing has been downright bad. Lightyear wasn't amazing. It was solid. It wasn't what it should have been, but it was solid, right? I think everything Pixar does, not everything, there's certain films, most of it comes out to be solid work. So I think Pixar is in great space, right? Toy Story 5 gets them that needed success, right? Right? Inside Out did it before, right? Inside Out did it too. And then Hoppers comes along, an original film, gives it the right success that it needs. It's like, okay, cool. Pixar's feeling really good. Now Toy Story 5 comes along and it's a wrecking ball, and it's going to crash well over 1 million. I'll be curious to see if it could hit 2 billion. I don't want to get too high up on that, but I'll be curious to see how far it gets over 1 billion. But Pixar's in a great space, right? I think Pixar should feel really good. Disney should feel really good about this company and about what they have going forward. Again, Incredibles 3, Gato, which is another original film that sounds interesting. The Coco 2 is eventually coming. Like, there's still the originality is still there, which I think if they can land those original films, really, really land those original films while also carrying the weight of these other franchises and keeping these stories going, it's gonna be good. And there's for me, I go, we don't need a Coco 2. We don't need a Coco 2. We don't need this 2. We don't need that 2. This is just the landscape of everything right now. This is the landscape. Franchises, sequels, right? We're lucky enough that we got Obsession and we can celebrate Obsession and what it did for original films, right? Even though the Backrooms was somewhat an existing thing already on YouTube, to bring it to life on the big screen and to see it do what it did in the box office, that is a huge win, right? So when stuff like that happens, The Odyssey is a good example, even though it's based off of a well-popular story and popular book, still, you celebrate some of those originalities because it's like, dude, let Disney do what they're doing. Let them do what they're doing. I still think there needs to be a space for original films for Disney, but let Disney do what they're doing as far as the sequel train goes for some of their live action films, right? I mean, not live action films, some of their animated films, right? Specifically in that Pixar camp. Pixar needed Toy Story bad and they won hard. So I'm happy for Pixar. They are in great shape. Now, let's talk about these box office duds. I've seen only one of these. I don't know when I'm going to see, just Supergirl. I saw Supergirl. I don't know when I'm going to see Moana. I don't know if I'm even going to touch it. These box office duds, man. Moana, $250 million budget, opens to 95 million global opening. Guys, that's bad. Right? It's bad. Well, you go, Michael. Michael, I don't get I don't get how that's bad. The Odyssey. The Odyssey on this weekend alone with a $250 million budget. Guys, it opened to $641.1 million in the box office. $264.1 million. That's perspective on how bad Moana's going to flop. It's going to flop. It's going to make its money. No, it's going to flop. I called it weeks ago. Obviously I wasn't on a pod. There's no record of me on a video saying it, but I called it. I said, Moana is in trouble. I said, Moana it's in trouble because it's got Toy Story 5. Everybody's going to see Toy Story 5. Everybody wants to see it. Everyone wants to see it. Cool. Will families show up for Moana? Will families pay 40, 50, 60 bucks for popcorn ticket to go see a live action adaptation, of a movie that came out 10 years ago? A movie that 2 years ago was reported, I think it was 2 years ago, it was reported it was the most streamed product on any platform, right? It was the most streamed product, right? A film that recently came out of a sequel that came out 2 years ago. I knew it. I smelled it. Most people knew it too. Nobody wanted to see no Moana, right? Nobody wanted to show up for it. And this is what you get. $95 million opening with a $250 million budget. Oh, but everybody and their mama is showing up to the Odyssey. Odyssey made over its budget already, and it's going to cruise. Can it get to $1 billion? That's what I want to see. Most IMAX showings are sold out. I was trying to get some tickets to go in August to Indy to go see it. Not looking too hot because of where the seats are and how many seats are left. And the Odyssey is big and it's popping off right now. A well-known IP from Disney, right? And I don't want to disrespect Christopher Nolan. We all know after Oppenheimer specifically, and even before then, Christopher Nolan was he was a dude. He was already a dude. But now after Oppenheimer, we knew after Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan was a bankable name. A bankable name. Probably the most bankable name out there. He's more bankable than Denny. I know we love the Dune franchise. He's more bankable than him. I'd even argue he may be more bankable than Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler is the only name, in my opinion, that comes close to touching Nolan. Nolan's the most bankable director right now. Even more bankable than Spielberg. Disclosure Day did okay. Nothing crazy. Right? That's another movie that I forgot to add to that list. But Disclosure Day did okay. Didn't do amazing. Again, Nolan is the most bankable dude right now. Most bankable dude in the game. But nonetheless, nobody wants to see Moana. And then Supergirl. DCU. Movie number 2. Fresh into this thing. And guess what? Comes crashing down. And not only comes crashing down, what's so fascinating about Supergirl is everything that came out about it after. They said in December, it was reported by, I want to say it's either Verity or Hollywood Reporter, what I read. Supergirl was cooked in December. James Gunn and team looked at that movie in the studio. James Gunn and Warner Brothers looked at the movie and said, oh, we're in trouble. Let's make 2 cuts. Craig Gillespie, you get 1 cut, right? We're going to test our cut. James Gunn and Warner Brothers approved cut. Tested just above Craig Gillespie's cut. Not good. And again, if I were to come into 2026, I wouldn't have thought these two would smack face down like they did. Specifically Supergirl. Right? Specifically Supergirl. We'll get more into that. But I think what's huge right now and what's important is that there's a nostalgic fatigue with Disney. I think Disney think they can win people over with, hey, we're going to do this again, something you know and love. And I keep seeing a lot of people that liked Moana, the live action version, and they were like, well, it was good because I was familiar and I knew it. And instead of it going, no, it was good because it was different, it was unique, and they did it differently, and they not only did it differently, but it was good. It was a good execution. No thanks. That's what the audience said. No thanks. And no, I read an article, and somebody said it best. No, this won't stop Disney. They're going to keep doing live action. They got Lilo and Stitch 2 on the way. Right? Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. The Tango live action is on the way as well. Coming out in 2028, I believe. And they're filming that right now. That's not going to stop them. They're going to keep doing it. I think Tango's going to do well. I even think Lilo and Stitch is going to do well. But I do think there is a fatigue with these movies. And I think Disney tried to test something different. A more recent product, a more recent project that they've done. Can it work live action and can people accept it and be about it? No. So this means too, like, I look at Disney and I go, a Frozen live action? Don't even think about it. Don't even think about a Frozen live action. Again, if you're Disney, you don't even think about a Frozen live action. You're not even thinking about an Encanto live action. You're not touching that. Why? Because you just proved. The audience has just proved that they don't want it. Right? And it blows my mind why Disney hasn't done a Hunchback of Notre Dame. Right? Hunchback of Notre Dame. Why hasn't that been remade? Atlantis would be sick. Treasure Planet would be sick. Pocahontas would be sick. And here's the thing. If you do it right, if you had the right execution, you get the right creative team behind these products, it's right there in front of you. It's right there in front of you. You just got to. I think Disney wants to take the safe route. So, and I think this is where, while Pixar is feeling really good, I look at Walt Disney Pictures and I go, ugh. I'm not feeling really good about Walt Disney Pictures unless it's Walt Disney Animation, right? Not feeling too hot about it. So, Walt Disney Animation has a new film, Hexed, which looks very interesting. Not hyped, not super excited about it, but I'm intrigued by it. That comes out in the fall, and we'll see what that does. But these live actions, dude, I'm just over it. And I keep talking to people outside of platforms, outside of the Twitter rooms and all that stuff. And like, people are over it. People are over it. And I think Disney really needs to find that special juice, that special sauce, that special aura. They need something to really set itself apart. And not just the live action stuff. If you're going to do live action, at least pick some titles that people are not super attached to. Sword in the Stone. They were supposed to do a Sword in the Stone live action, I think, and it got canceled. That's something that sounds interesting. That's something that people are not as well attached to, that they could embrace in this new era of Disney, right? But of course, they don't want to do it, right? Now, DCU. Flaming out, right? What's clear is that they need a better review process for directing and writing. I said it from the jump. Craig Gillespie was not the right choice. Right choice. You know, I think Travis Knight, who directed Masters of the Universe, if you haven't seen that, go see it if you're intrigued by He-Man, if you care about any of that stuff. Masters of the Universe was a fun movie. It's cheesy, but it worked. It worked super well. Travis Knight would have been perfect to direct Supergirl, right? I think he would have done a good job after he did Bumblebee, which Bumblebee was a solid film. It was one of the best Transformer films, I think. It's one of the best in terms of storytelling and what it does, right? And he's good at writing female characters. I think Travis Knight should have been the call for Supergirl. It definitely should have been Craig Gillespie, right? So I think what's worrisome is that, you know, James Gunn said that the review process is, you know, they don't never greenlight something until they're sure that this is going to be good and it's going to work. And they greenlit Supergirl, right? So as much as I want to be mad at Craig Gillespie for not nailing the initial take, this is James Gunn's fault too. This is Peter Safran's fault too. They have to do a better job. They have to do a better job with the process. Lanterns and Clayface need to be good. Lanterns comes out next month, I think August 16th. The show starts. Lanterns needs to be good. Green Lantern is a huge character. It needs to be good, dude. It can't be mid. It has to be good. I've seen some things where people have heard that it's good and that people are excited about it and it's a real deal. And we'll see. I thought I read something too that said that Supergirl was good and that people were like, oh, Supergirl's good. So until Lanterns comes out, we'll wait and see. Clayface also has to be good. Right? Not a well-known character. You can get away with it. And it's horror. Horror is winning right now. Horror is killing it right now. I think Clayface has a good shot of being good if it's well received. If it's well received, the masses will come and then word of mouth will spread. Right? And Batman. The curious case of Batman. Oh, I forgot to add Batman even to my my episode plan. I'm so over Batman. I'm so annoyed with Batman. I'm annoyed with the character. I'm annoyed at Matt Reeves for his Batman with his Batman films and how long is I'm annoyed about the character of Batman right now. I think the only saving grace is me going back to The Dark Knight and even going back to watch the Batman right now. I'm just so over the fact that live action Batman, at least in this new era, has struggled, right? And most of that is because of Matt Reeves, right? The Batman Part 2 gets delayed to 2028. I think it's March 2028. February 2028. I'm annoyed. This movie has been delayed like 3 or 4 times. I think 3 or 4 times. I'm annoyed. I'm over it. People are like, well, Matt Reeves is cooking. I hear that. We're getting a Dune trilogy before Matt Reeves' Batman sequel. We're getting a Dune trilogy. We're going to get not Man of Steel, excuse me. We're going to get a Superman sequel. Next year, guys. The movie's filming right now. They're probably going to finish sometime, probably in the next few months. I imagine they'll finish. And then they're going to be editing it for next year. It's coming out next year. Oh, but Matt Reeves is taking his good old time with the Batman Part 2. I'm sorry. Mike, hand in the air. I am not excited about the Batman Part 2 right now. I'm not excited. I'm tired of the wait. I'm tired of the delays. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. I'm looking at Matt Reeves and I'm going, Matt, go film the movie. Don't say anything more else about it. I don't want to post a teaser. I don't want a little clip. Go direct the movie. Go finish it, dude. It's like a 6-year gap. That's ridiculous. That's not good. And it's not good because DC needs Batman more than the DCU, one of the DC universe for this new era for James Gunn's. But in general, in cinema, the world loves Batman. They'll come and they'll show up for a Batman movie. Batman needs to be present. And there's this gap. I think it's the longest gap in a long time that Batman has not been on screen. And that's because of Matt Reeves. If I'm James Gunn, I'm looking at Matt Reeves and I'm going, hey, that Batman Part 3 script needs to be in right after you're done filming. You need to go write it, and it needs to be turned in the next 6 months. And then you need to get ready to film in the next 3 or 4 months. Like, it needs to be like that. Right? So, the DCU needs Batman, but the DCU can't use Batman right now. They have to wait for Matt Reeves. Right? And now people are going, oh, just tell James Gunn just to go and do it. Just go and do it. Audiences are not going to buy 2 Batmans right now. They're going to be too confused. You're just getting a universe started. You don't want 2 Batmans running around. I just need this Batman franchise to be done. I need them to hurry up. I'm sure. And here's the thing. I will be seated for the Batman Part 2. That's the funny thing. I will be seated for this movie. But it's frustrating. It is nonetheless frustrating. And I think anybody that wants to defend him and go, well, no. I get it. There's some behind the scenes stuff that we won't ever know about that I think he went through. Some personal stuff. I don't know what it is. Beyond the point. Even with that stuff, I still look at him and I go, dude, it's got to get done. Part 3 needs to, again, bounce back to back to back. It needs to get done. Because the DCU, and I think James Gunn and company feel it. I think it'd be stupid of them not to go, oh, we're not feeling the pressure. It's like, no, they're feeling it. And the longer the Batman franchise, these movies drag, the longer it takes for the DCU's Batman to show up. That's it, dude. So I'm looking at Matt Reeves. Go do what you need to do, dude. Get it done and keep it moving. Or if the Batman becomes a part of the DCU, if that's the Batman, cool, dude. I'm not even going to be mad. I'm not even going to be upset. I love it. If you reformatting part of the script to make it work or whatever, I'm on board with it. I don't think that's the case because it's been reported many times. James Gunn is like, no. But I'm about it, man. I would love to see for it to happen. But the DCU feels like it's flaming out. Here's the next steps for DCU. Here's the next steps. James Gunn needs to revisit his process. Him and Peter Safran need to review the process. They need to get together. I know they've held a writer's room and they posted pictures about the writers that they've hosted, and that's cool and all, buddy, but you've got no room to be going, we're in a room with all these writers. You need to re-pivot. You need to pivot your plan. You need to get a Wonder Woman project announced ASAP. Wonder Woman has to be announced ASAP. That's just reality. You've got to announce him ASAP. Figure out the Flash. Right? We're getting more and more removed from the atrocity that is that Ezra Miller film, The Flash. Figure out the Flash character. You need to introduce the Flash. I think it's time that the DCU starts introducing some of those big time players. You can't keep stringing people along by going, we're gonna do a Jimmy Olsen show that has Gorilla Grodd in it. No, that's not keeping people around. You don't have time. You're not Marvel. You can't do what they're doing right now. After the roughest saga that Marvel has had, the DCU can't do this. You're in no room. You're in no shape. James Gunn, Peter Safran, you can't do it. You need to go, and you need to get those heavy hitters, and you need to start putting projects out there. Batman, you can't use Batman in his own movie right now. You don't want to use his Batman or use Batman in his own movie. What do you need to do? Batman needs to start to show up in those other movies, right? I get it. I even said it before. It's too confusing with two different Batmans. I think if Batman is strategically placed in other movies so people know he's around and people know he's visible, then cool. Right? Not showing up to San Diego Comic-Con. Oof, that is a big miss. Oof, I know James Gunn might not ever see this video, might not ever see this podcast, might not ever hear it, but it is a big miss that James Gunn and company are not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Lanterns is the only thing that's going to show up, and I think that's a big miss. Marvel Studios is doing it. Yes, they've announced 2 films that we know that are on the horizon, right? But Marvel Studios is doing it. DC needed it right now with Supergirl and what it's doing. DC needed it. They need to start building something. They need to start showing people that you can care about these characters. You can enjoy this stuff, right? You're not going to get you're not going to get that time if the product isn't good. And Supergirl doesn't help your case, right? If Lanterns and Clayface work, it buys you time. Man of Tomorrow has to be a hit, though. It has to be a hit. And I think James Gunn knows that. There's a little bit of that ounce of that pressure that's lingering over him, and he might not say it out loud, with all due respect. The pressure is on. The pressure is on. Give people something to believe in. Get people to something to care about. You need to start hyping this stuff up. Going silent about some of these projects, I look at them, I go, I don't want you to act. You shouldn't act hastily, right? You shouldn't make a jarring move out of because of what we, the audience, says. But there is an urgency of going, all right, Supergirl wasn't the movie it needed to be, right? You promised you wouldn't greenlit something unless it was correct. I mean, unless it was good, unless it was what you wanted it to be. And guess what? December came rolling around last year and the movie was cooked. Like, something has got to give. And that's why I see you start looking at those heavy hitters and you go, we need a Flash project. We need to introduce a Flash, a new version of the Flash that people can love and people can care about. Same with Wonder Woman. We got to get that rolling, and it has to be ASAP. It has to. You don't have all the time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world. All right. Speaking of superheroes, Doomsday. The Doomsday trailer dropped today. Tickets also went on sale today for specific showings in what Disney and Marvel are calling Infinity Vision, which by the looks online is getting trashed, getting mocked, getting made fun of, which is not that fascinating, not far-fetched, but that's what's all going on with it. Doomsday trailer. Let's watch the trailer. I've seen it already, but I haven't seen it since this morning. I want to watch it. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Talk about how I feel about it. Right? Don't forget, this is opening up December 18th, right next to Dune Part 3, which the new trailer for that one, I should have showed that one. I should have uploaded that one and did it and talked about it. It looks fantastic. I think Dune 3 is going to be great. I saw the trailer in IMAX in front of the Odyssey, and it's going to be great. The emotion, the tension, it's going to be great. Let's watch this trailer. Let's go.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able to deter. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision.
I've fought with many warriors in my time. They were far stronger than all of us put together, and they died. They died facing enemies and threats that scared me far less than this one. Everything that they sacrifice will be for nothing if we do not stand together. Put aside your petty squabbles and presume nothing except this. If you return, you will return as brothers and sisters. But mark my words. We're going to need a miracle.
Hey, pal.
It's not possible.
All right. That's the trailer. Avengers Doomsday. Now, I think it's a solid trailer. I think it's a real solid trailer. It didn't show too much of the plot, of what they're going and what they're doing. It showed just a lot of who's going to be the major players in this film, which in my opinion, that's all that needs to happen. Now, it doesn't feel, and again, this is the tension that again, we can debate about it, we can cry about it, we can whine about it all day. We can do that all day. There's a disconnect from what we experience in the Infinity Saga than what we experience in the Multiverse Saga, which leads us to look at this film a lot differently. There isn't the emotional draw or the emotional pull. Some of the connection to some of these characters and some of these major players don't feel as earned. And I think that is real and that is true. And I think if you don't, some people, they might not even care about what I just said. And they go, no, I still rock with it. And that's cool. But that's just the reality. And that is just the feeling. I watched the trailer. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm hyped for it. It was a solid trailer, right? If I had to compare against Dune Part 3 trailer, Dune Part 3's two are way better. They're way better. And that's fine. I do think this movie has the potential to be super good and super fun. I do think we are at a point. Like, I keep seeing the online conversation. I'm like, dude, if you do not like this stuff, see your way out, man. Where you go, Michael, I can still have criticism. I can still feel how I feel about it. And I can still voice what I want to say. You 100% can. You don't need to tweet about it. You don't need to write articles about it every single day and feel the need to have take part in the discussion. You don't need to. You don't need to. Because here's the thing. I keep seeing this debate. And I even talked about it at the beginning of the year, and I said it. I said Dune needs to come hard, and they need to promote this movie. That trailer right there, I don't care if it doesn't do anything for people emotionally. I don't care if it does nothing for you emotionally. What's going to be real, and I saw a comment that somebody said this film will still make a lot of money. This film will still make a lot of money. People will still show up to see this movie. There's just one comment, but I think this is one comment with a bunch of people. There's some people that go, I didn't even understand Dune. I couldn't make it through the first one. I saw the second. There are many people that are resonating in that camp. Right? I think Dune is going to be a hit and it's going to be big. But that's also going to be big and it's going to be a hit. The only thing that I think that can really, really derail this movie is really, really bad. It's really, really bad. I've seen some rumors. I've seen some stuff. I don't want to dig too much into it right now because I'm like, I don't know what to believe. That's the only thing that's going to derail this movie. It's if it's bad. But you know what? Even with the Tony Stark aspect, even with all this other stuff, the same people that complain about this movie and complain about the trailer and complain about Marvel, you will still show up and watch the movie and give Disney and give Marvel Studios your money. Let me say that again because some of you don't get it. You will still show up and give Disney and give Marvel Studios your money. You will. You'll do it. You're too intrigued by it. You will. We know the disconnect with the multiverse saga. We get it. We know. It is valid to say that maybe some of this stuff is not earned. Chris Evans, Steve Rogers coming back doesn't feel as momentum. It doesn't feel as cool and doesn't carry as much weight. That is so fair. And I'm with you. We've all discussed the problems with the multiverse saga for years now. We get it. My point now is like, we need to just, that dialogue, that hold, it just needs to go out the door. We get it. We've been there. We know they failed. Right now, we got to move onward. December 18th is on the way. I only care about this final product and what it says and what it does. This movie's not flopping. Let's get that clear. This movie is not flopping. This movie will make money. This movie reaches a demographic that's bigger than Dune. Period. It reaches a bigger demographic that's bigger than Dune. Period. That's fact. That's not subjective. That is fact. When you factor kids, when you factor families, when you factor people that are probably just going to show up and they haven't watched these movies in years that are going to be intrigued by the idea of Chris Evans is in this again. That feels, I don't know about that, but we're going to go see it. They didn't even show Robert Downey Jr. Yet most of the masses know that Robert Downey Jr. is in it. Guys, people are going to show up for this. People are going to show up for this. Infinity Vision. I'm not done with my rant. Infinity Vision. This whole debate on Infinity Vision. Cash grab. It's Disney's response. Disney's response to Dune getting all the IMAX screens. That's the reality. It's Disney's response to Dune getting all the IMAX screens. Right? So, this is what Infinity Vision is. Infinity Vision is a certification, for a premium large format theaters, meaning moviegoers are guaranteed an exceptional film presentation. This includes big screens with bright images and outstanding sound. When you see Infinity Vision badge, you know you're in for an incredible theatrical experience. It's very vague. Doesn't bring in a whole lot of clarity onto, I won't say, if you were reading that off of firsthand, you're going, I don't really see like what makes it different. Just a certification on top of premium large format screens, right? People are like, that's a scam. It's fake. It's nothing new. It's nothing crazy. They just take it. Hey, you're probably 100%, bro. Disney is probably scamming the crap out of all of us going, go see it in Infinity Vision. 100%. I am completely with you on that notion. My issue is we had this whole conversation with the Odyssey. There's a whole conversation online about the Odyssey and the IMAX. IMAX 70 millimeter is not accessible. It's not accessible for everybody. You got to go to certain distances and certain directions to go to see 70 millimeter. Well, Michael, what does that mean? What does that have to do with a movie and the way it's viewed? Certain movies are filmed with IMAX cameras, right? And those IMAX cameras present 70 and 70 millimeter format, right? Some of that is actual film, right? Not everybody has access to it. Indiana, I think, is probably the closest one to me, right? Maybe Chicago. We've got some in New York, LA. There's some other locations where they have it. It's not accessible, right? IMAX in general, it's getting more accessible, right? The normal IMAX is getting more accessible. There's some cities like the city I live in. There's 3. There's 3 certified IMAX theaters in my city. There's other cities that have the same. They have 2 to 3, right? And then there are some cities that don't have a lot. That don't have that. They don't know how many IMAXs around, right? Or, as one would say it, to watch the movie as it was originally intended for, originally filmed. So to go see the Odyssey in its fullest form, you would have to go to a 70 millimeter IMAX. The movie was shot completely in IMAX, right? So Disney goes, we can't get those screens. Dune had this date first. We can't get those screens. What do? What is our response? We can't get those screens. You ask me, I think they don't need those screens. They'll figure it out and they'll do the numbers, right? But this is Disney's way of going, if we can't get those IMAX screens, let's get those premium large format screens. Michael, what does that mean? I'm looking at Cinemark XD. I'm looking at Regal's version of that. I can't remember the name. Marcus Cinema's version of that. All these other cinemas have some premium large format screens. Disney's looking like, I'm going to tag those. If we can get IMAX screens, we're going to tag some of those. And not only tag some of those, we're going to tag some of those with our brand that's called Infinity Vision. It is probably, all in all, a way for Disney to make money, and it is low-key a scam when you think about it. It probably is. But, in my opinion, when you know, after the discussion that we just had about the Odyssey and how people are like, I can't get to a 70 millimeter. It's like the Odyssey prologue. The Dune 3 Part 3 prologue was only shown in 70 millimeter format this weekend. I couldn't even see the prologue. I saw the trailer. Guys, that's exactly what I'm talking about. There are plenty of people that go, I can't get to where to see the movie in its truest form, which is IMAX's biggest issue right now. And so Disney's like, this is our response to it, whether it's corny, whether it's lame or not. Disney's like, okay, we're going to tag some of these premium screens with our brand to try to fill butts in these seats because we didn't get IMAX. It's petty. And it is a money technique, sure. And it's probably lame, sure. But I still think there's a problem with IMAX and how it's not as accessible, right? There's not a 70 millimeter everywhere. And there's a conversation about they don't make 70 millimeter projections anymore. And there's a whole thing on that, which I look at IMAX and I'm going, that's your issue. Figure it out. Fix it. The Odyssey is proving right now, these sold out showings is proving right now that there's a need and there's figure it out, right? That's what I'm looking at them and I'm going, figure it out. So Infinity Vision is probably corny. It's probably lame, and it's gimmicky, and it doesn't make sense, and it's fake, and it's a scam, whatever. Let Disney do. Disney's going to do what Disney's going to do. It's like complaining about the movie. Oh, after watching The Odyssey, that movie looks terrible to me. Yeah, the movie does look different. We know what Christopher Nolan brings. I'm also turning my vision on, or turning my the way I look at that movie. I'm changing it because I'm going, this movie is going to be different. It's not Christopher Nolan. It's the Russo brothers, and they shoot differently. Marvel shoots things differently. It's different. Is it great? Subjective. The Odyssey is what the Odyssey is, right? There's certain movies that do things differently, with the directors that do things way differently, that are 100% better than Marvel. That's the reality. But again, the rehashing and the complaining. Oh, the Infinity Vision is a gimmick and it's fake. And it's like, dude, you're going to tire yourself out. Because guess what? That Fandango app was crashing this morning. My nearest Cinemark was packed out for the 650, 850 showing on Thursday night, the 17th. You can complain. People are going to show up. It's Disney's response, right? And I think, again, I'm still full court pressing on IMAX, and I'm going, figure out how to make 70 millimeters. Figure out how to make more. Figure out how, get those people in the room that know how to work it, that know how to work those cameras, or excuse me, those projectors, which is a small amount of people. Figure out how to get it done. There's a need for it. Figure out how to get it done. All right, Doomsday. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see them build more hype as we go. I'm sure there will be more cameos. I already know where this movie is going. Some people don't. I mean, most people can just look up where this movie is going into Secret Wars, but how that works, it's going to be fascinating. I'm going to see both of those movies the same weekend. Right? I don't get the debate. Dune is going to be a hit. Dune is going to hit. Doomsday is going to hit too. I think Doomsday is still going to win the box office. Dune is probably going to be the better film, right? We already know what Denny could do. It's going to be the better film. But complaining and, oh, Marvel with this crap, dog, you're giving more energy. You're giving more energy to Marvel Studios and Disney. You're giving more energy to the company that you don't like and that you hate. You can be critical, but you're giving more energy and more gaze upon it. You're bringing more light on it. The debate gets to a point where it's like, okay, this is dumb. This is dumb. All right. One more. He's coming. I'm excited about it. Spidey. I'm really excited about this movie. It has the potential to be the best Spider-Man movie. I saw the most recent trailer ahead of the Odyssey as well. And yeah, I think the movie is going to deliver in every aspect. I think this movie is a sure $1 billion hit. Audiences love Spider-Man. Audiences love Spider-Man. He and Batman are the only two superheroes that can do numbers the way they do numbers. Right? I'd go as far as to say Spider-Man probably will make more than Doomsday. I know if Doomsday makes more than Spider-Man, I cannot wait to get back on here. Oh, I can't wait to get back on here. Because I think Spider-Man, all in all, is going to be the better film between Doomsday and Spider-Man. I think Brand New Day is going to be the better film. Right? Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think everything about this film, leading up to this film, is I've been waiting for Tom Holland's Spider-Man to have what feels like his version of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies. I've been waiting for it. It feels like it's here. The story sounds like it's going to be interesting. They're leaving things out, right? We don't know. We know some things about the plot. There's some leaks out there. I've been staying away from the leaks. Some leaks I haven't been staying away from too much, but I don't know how this movie is really going to play out. It takes place right before. I can't say right before Doomsday. It takes place before Doomsday. We don't know if it's right before. Kevin Feige had an interview today, or I saw an interview released, and he did not say He said he wouldn't say where in the timeline before Doomsday it takes place, but it takes place before Doomsday. And as we know, Spider-Man is reportedly not in Avengers Doomsday, which to many is a shocker. And so it'd be interesting to see how this all plays and how this all works out. I'm sure it's going to have a post-credit scene that's going to give us prep for December. I'm hoping it's 2 post-credit scenes. Like, I'm hoping, like, Kevin Feige is pulling out all the stops and going, we're going to give some tidbits, some more tidbits, and we're going to get people excited about Doomsday. As they're going to continue to promote the movie. High hopes for Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's going to be, I'm not going to doubt the spider. I think Spider-Man's going to win in 2 weeks. It doesn't come out this weekend. It comes out 2 weeks. It's going to win in 2 weeks, the box office. The Odyssey hype is going to die a little bit. People are still going to see it. But Spider-Man, people are going to show up for Spider-Man. They're going to show up for Tom Holland. They're going to show up for Zendaya. They're going to show up for Spider-Man, Punisher, Hulk, some Bruce Banner with Mark Ruffalo. People are going to show up for Spider-Man. So I think Spider-Man's going to win the box office in 2 weeks. I could see it doing Toy Story numbers. Tracking to, halfway to $1 billion by the first week, probably. That's my guess. Numbers are my strong suit. But I got high hopes for Spider-Man. I think coming off of the Odyssey, I'm excited for Spider-Man to kind of bring us home to finish the summer. All in all, I feel like this summer has been solid. Besides the 2 busts of movies, I liked Disclosure Day. I enjoyed Disclosure Day. I had no problem with it. Toy Story worked for me. It was a solid film. And then the Odyssey comes crashing in, and it does what it does, and it's brilliant. Go see it. Pod episode will be out soon. Stick to the socials, and you'll see when it's coming out. I'm excited about the Odyssey. And talking about that. That's about it for the Real Table Podcast. I'm excited to be back. It's great to be back. It's great to be back doing this, discussing and doing what I love. The fall is going to be interesting. There's some interesting projects out there. This year is not done. This is one of the best years in cinema in a long time, in my opinion. It's one of the best. Between Project Hail Mary, The Odyssey, Obsession. This has been one of the best years. To see so many movies thriving and seeing those original movies thriving. Like, I think about Sin Help, which I think people have forgotten about how well that movie has thrived. Project Hail Mary, it's incredible. Super incredible. Cool. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't go see The Odyssey. Go see it. Pod episode for The Odyssey will be out this week. I'm pumped. Stick to the socials, and you'll see when it's coming out. I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will talk to y'all real soon. Y'all be safe out there. Peace.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're enjoying the deep dives and the conversation around film, be sure to share and follow the podcast. Once again, thanks for coming to the table, and we'll see you next time.